What's up, everyone? Happy Friday. You made it. We're back. It's the Friday Live with Lauren show. Are you here? Are you awake? It is Friday in October. We weren't here last week. It was kind of insane. I don't know if y'all know. I'm in Florida. There was like some hurricanes or something. Maybe we got hit with a hurricane. But we didn't go live last Friday. So I missed you. Did you miss me? And then you got to let me know, because I don't know. I was told from some people that like there were some issues with all this streaming on LinkedIn. So did LinkedIn tell you we were live? Would you share the show? Be a friend, be a homie, share the show. Let other people know we're live right now, because nobody's going to learn if you don't help them out. We got to learn. We got lessons today. Okay, so tell us where you're joining from. You know, I always have an amazing guest. I have a wonderful guest today. Do you guys know we do giveaways on this show, right? Like we have a sponsor. We got the co-founder on from Sendoso today. Y'all, can you believe it? I'm super stoked. I got Braydan Young in the house. What's up?
What's happening? Good to be here.
He's in his Tahoe home.
from my Tahoe house.
It looks great. He's going to go back there and play that piano for us in a minute.
Yeah, at the end, I'll play some jams on the piano.
Y'all didn't even know what you were getting today. But I am so excited. What's up? Michelle's in the house. I'm so excited to have you here. Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, it's good to be here. So we're the swag sponsor. Like that's awesome. Hopefully there's some good giveaways too. I didn't know that. Hopefully there's some good stuff that we're
we do something fun every episode. I'll go ahead and show everybody. Normally we wait a little bit, but you're here. Why not? Let's show right now.
Yeah.
Right now, today, we're giving away this trick or treat candy box. And y'all,
we're doing one of them or we're doing two of them?
We can do as many as you want. Normally,
awesome.
We can do two. We'll do two candy boxes today.
Yes.
But y'all, it is a Halloween edition. Kind of. I don't know. We're giving away something Halloween and candy. I'm in like this fasting boot camp this month, so I'm going to give away all the things I'm not eating. Super stoked to keep giving away things that are going to grow your waistline and not mine. But you got to let me know how the candy is. Michelle's in the comments. She owes us an unboxing. She won some wine on the show a little while ago. Oh, here's all the people. Okay, we got Boston in the house. Gregory's here. What's up? Portland, Long Island. And yes, LinkedIn did us right today. Thank you, LinkedIn. We love you so much. Okay, hashtag Sendoso. Michelle starting it out. So everybody, this is how you enter to win the amazing candy boxes. We're going to do two of them. They're C's candy. So hashtag Sendoso. You do have to send it to somebody in the U.S., but you can win it from anywhere in the world. So you can win it. You just got to ship it to somebody in the United States. We got Nigeria in the house. Some people are commenting, Sendoso, what's up? And yes, I love that candy box too. Is it not the cutest freaking thing I've seen today? What's up? Okay, yes, Dan, happy to have you back. Andrew, you're having leftovers? What is this? I don't know what's happening. Okay, Karen said, hey, Braydan. Karen's here to see you. Yes. Way to be forgetting Katie, her kicks, Braydan. Oh, look, we got some lovely things for you.
Nice.
All right. We got Pennsylvania in the house, Salt Lake City. Okay, y'all, we got too many people tuning in. I love you all. Bangladesh, Long Island, Canada, everywhere, PA. Okay, y'all, we got 4 hot topics today. 4 of them. And you know that even though it's the Friday Live with Lauren show, we're going to learn from Braydan Young today. So, Braydan, can you please quickly tell everybody who's joining us who is Braydan Young?
So before I jump in, because this is like a Halloween style episode, for Halloween, we figured out our costume last night. I'm going to be Elton John, and then I have a 3-year-old daughter who and my wife are going to be my tiny dancers. They're going to be ballerinas. So pretty excited about that. Costumes have changed as I've gotten older, but I'll post it on LinkedIn at some point because Halloween's a really big deal in this household. So excited to get. Anyways, who am I? Braydan. I am the co-founder of Sendoso. So we started about 8 years ago or so. Before that, I was always in sales. So I've been an SDR, I've been an AE. We had a really hard time connecting with folks when I was an AE, and I was like, what could we do that's a bit different? And my co-founder, Chris, we came up with this idea to send like coffee gift cards around, and coffee gift cards, we called it the coffee sender. That turned into Sendoso for us to send out more than just coffee, or so much more than just coffee. And we kind of grew from there. It's been fun. We work with a lot of really big companies now. We send a ton of things around the world and help people build relationships. So, and then personally, I only have one daughter. As I said, she's 3. I live up in Marin. I'm in like San Anselmo, San Rafael area. If you know it, if you're here, come stop by.
I know. We were just talking about how I have to make a trip out.
Yes.
I love
Absolutely.
it. Okay. So my son has a Mario costume, but he was gifted for his birthday a Kobe Bryant jersey and shorts. So he's determining what he's going to be right now. He doesn't know. But I told him today that if he dressed up as Mario, I'd dress up as Princess Peach.
Like a Kobe Bryant Mario type person would be kind of cool.
I mean, you want him to be like a combination?
Yeah. I mean, like I was like
over the Mario costume.
You could do both. See how it goes. See
Whatever.
who will respond to more, and the next day you could switch, or halfway through the day.
Oh, he's going to multiple.
You can A and B test the costumes to see what kind of response you get.
I love it. All right, y'all. Ask your questions in the chat. You know, we can turn anything about kids into sales because that's what people do on LinkedIn.
That's exactly what they do. Posting my child a LinkedIn in her Halloween costume is 100% for leads.
It's 100%. It's just for LinkedIn. Yeah, okay. So ask your questions in the chat. If they're appropriate, if we can answer them, we will. Remember, you can comment #Sendoso to be entered to win today's gifting experience, blah, blah, blah. Read all of the rules and regulations that I have to put down there below. I'm not going to read them for you. Again, it is C's Candy Trick or Treat box, and you have to ship it to someone in the United States. All right. Now that we're 7 minutes past 3, are you ready to get started on our first topic?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so I pulled this one straight off of your profile. I'm excited for this one because I don't think enough people challenge the status quo of anything. And I don't think anybody really communicates very well. So let's talk about this. How do you really challenge the status quo of communication? And when we're talking about this, when you're saying this to like your team, what do you really mean?
So we live in the world. So the reason we came up with this is because most folks, when they're doing business, are email, our phone call, and that's really maybe chat, maybe. And so the goal behind it was we live in the world of direct mail, and the way that we help you communicate with your customers is via your mailbox. So it's one of those things where, like, if you're selling a product, which we all are, or if you're selling a service, like not using the mail and the mailbox is you're missing out, because it's one of those channels where folks are able to step away from the computer, go get their mail. If you're in there with a note, with a gift, with like maybe it's a gift they open up with their family, it's one of those things that really helps your brand, you as individuals, stand out from just the email and the phone call world. And that's kind of where this phrase came from, and why I liked it, and why I added it to my LinkedIn, was because we want you to use not just email and phone calls, but also direct mail, and kind of be in everywhere your prospect or your customer is.
Yeah. And I think one of the cool things about this is that, at least these days, and I don't know, other people, tell me in the comments if I'm wrong. I love to be wrong. Challenge me. But at least these days, I don't get a ton of junk mail anymore. That's kind of like filtered its way out. A lot of the mail I get is actually pretty relevant to me. I don't know, maybe I've done a good job of not signing up for irrelevant stuff. But it's pretty relevant, the mail I get. I don't get a bunch of junk that I'm throwing away. The mail I do get, I get letters from people I care about. I get gifts for birthdays and holidays and anniversaries. The mail is now, I mean, the bills don't even really come in the mail anymore, right? The bills are online. They're automated. Yeah. The mail isn't something I dread looking at. It's not annoying to me. It's kind of exciting to go to the mailbox. My kid loves going to the mailbox. He's like, oh, mommy, we got a package. It's something that email is a chore. Right?
Email's a chore. Text is becoming like, I mean, like going through the political world right now, like the amount of like messages we get from like, hey, donate to my campaign. It's constant. I don't know if it's just me, but it's like every hour there's another one from somewhere, or when you like also like put some message in to get 10% off. Like I get like those messages too. So being in the mailbox is like, that's where folks need to be, because that's like one of those moments that can't be bombarded with, horrible junk messages.
Exactly. So I love it. I think you guys have done it really, really well.
Thanks.
Another reason why I love to have you guys on the show as a sponsor, because it gets to like let me show this light to other people in a way that comes off very organic, because they get to choose if they want to enter to win. I'm showing you what you're getting in advance when you come on the show. But the other thing that's cool that you guys started doing this year while we were all partnered together was now there's an option where if that gift doesn't resonate with you, you have an option to
swap it out.
Right. So I've had a lot of people who like somebody who wouldn't eat candy that they won, they switched it for a plant, which I love that because it was something that
Yeah.
worked for them.
It was so we didn't. I have to be honest, like that feature was one that like we put it on the back burner for a long time, is because we didn't know. We thought if you're sending a gift, people should just be like, just accept it. If you don't want it, then like you can whatever. So we took a long time to build it, but we always had that feature for e-gifts. So if I send you like $20 to DoorDash, you'd be like, actually, I want to donate it instead. Like I don't want to take $20 DoorDash. So it was always worked well for e-gifts, and so we should have done it earlier when it came to physical gifts. But I guess we took a little bit too long. So it's good to hear that it resonates.
I think it's amazing. It works. I mean, people have used it on the show this year. It's definitely something that I think resonates. And if anybody doesn't want their $20 DoorDash gift certificate, you can donate that to me. I will take that pretty please from the girl who sits at her desk and doesn't order DoorDash because I'm too cheap. Thanks.
So like the other thing about status quo that I think is important to mention, and it's like a hot take. This is kind of goes against a lot of the options we have in this Indosa platform, and so we'll keep it real for this podcast. I think, and I argue with Chris, my co-founder, all the time about this. I don't think a direct mail gift, needs to be expensive. I think that like it's something where like as long as you kind of get the nudge and like that same chemical reaction reciprocity happens in someone's head. If it's $100 Cotopaxi sweatshirt with your name on it, cool. I'm glad you can send those things. I think a handwritten note a lot of the time is exactly the same thing. And I think if you do it, it's like if it has the right content in it, I think you get the exact same response. So like kind of challenging the status quo, sending out notes, sending thank you notes, things like that, I think would be a simple tactic to just try in like your world of sales and see how it goes. I mean, like I could probably count on one hand how many times I've gotten a handwritten note from like a demo I've taken, but like it's kind of cool. I mean, it's like a cool way to like say thank you. Even if you lose a deal, you should try that and say, hey, like, hope to connect next year. I don't know, just a thought. I wanted to add that.
No, I love it. I don't think gifts need to be expensive. I think they need to have, and I know everybody says personalization. I mean that in a sense of when, and this isn't like me and Braydan person, but I'm just going to use your name as an example.
Yeah.
But if I met Braydan and I'm recruiting for his company and we're making this connection and I want to build this relationship, and this is something I do actually do with a lot of my clients, I have in my office a basketball hoop, and it's a little over-the-door basketball hoop. But when I'm reviewing candidates and I'm going through notes, I sit there and I shoot at the hoop.
Yeah.
So I make a joke with my clients, sign my contract. We're going to work together. I'll get you a basketball hoop too. We'll sit on Zoom and we'll talk candidates and we'll shoot hoops. And like, I make something fun out of it. It's a little $30 basketball hoop. It's nothing expensive. It's nothing important. If they don't want it, they can give it to their kids. But it's something that's showing like, this is a relationship I want to build with you. This is something we can do together. And it's really reinforcing that relationship matters to me. And I want to spend this time with you, which time is the most important thing you can give someone, in my opinion.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Gets you there, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I mean, like gifting as a whole, I mean, like back my first job at a college was selling insurance. And like we used to leave like pens in offices, right? Because like you wanted the pen to have like just simple things like, oh, I left the pen there because you want them to remember you. Like I send hats because like no one's gonna throw away a hat. Like it ends up like going on the hat shelf somewhere and someday you grab it and you give it to maybe your in-laws or something when they're going for a walk outside. So like things that don't get thrown away I think are important. But like, small gifts are, I think, all it takes sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, I got to pull up a few of these really quick. Spam folders used to permanently weed out all the nonsense, but not much anymore. I think they still get a lot of the nonsense. I don't even look at my spam folder anymore. Do you look at your spam folder anymore?
Not like work email, like personal Gmail. Like, how they have like the categories. Like that's gotten kind of like better, but still, she's like, we can tell us live as people walk by in the back. Like, it's gotten much better, I think. I don't even look at the spam stuff.
Yeah. Dan says there's no choice but to challenge the communication status quo because people are drowning in generic outreach. Yeah. I saw a really funny post today about like an AI SDR bot, and they showed I think it was Jen Allen posted it, and then she showed it in like spam, and like it went to spam. It's an AI response. It's awful, and it's like they're selling this, and it's so bad. It's so bad.
The AIs are getting good, but I think they're probably about the age right now of like an entry level, never trained SDR. Like I think like as they learn quickly. We'll see how that goes. But I think a year from now we'll see what those look like. Hopefully they'll get better because you're right, it's not great yet.
Not yet. We'll see.
Yeah.
Also, I want to call out, if this is you and you realize that your hashtag is like LinkedIn user, that's in your privacy settings. It's a you thing, not a me thing. And I respect that. So go to YouTube and you can do hashtag Sendoso on YouTube on the Lessons with Lauren channel, and you can enter to win there. You do not have to change your LinkedIn settings. You can stay private, but you cannot enter to win on LinkedIn. Sorry about that. But I just wanted you to know, because I want everybody to have the option to win. Emmy says she lives in a swing state. She gets a lot of spam. Y'all, I guess I'm just lucky. I'm not dealing with that. Dan agrees. Handwritten notes are impressive. We were talking about this on a live the other day, talking about interviews and follow-ups. And I can count on one hand the number of handwritten thank you notes I've gotten after interviews in my life. What about you?
Probably the same. I mean, like, I think that there was a customer who did this. I thought it was a really good send. So when they lost a deal, somebody was like, hey, I'm not going with you. They sent a handwritten note like 3 weeks later. And it was usually when that person was going through onboarding and they were just pissed off because maybe they were oversold. Maybe something wasn't right. And a note would show up from the company they didn't choose saying, hey, like, you know, thanks for the demos and the time. I learned a ton. Like, hope to connect next year. And it like had such a like awesome win back percentage, because if people would get that, I'd be like, oh, I chose the wrong company. And so like, it was kind of a cool thing that I saw done. I mean, of course it caused havoc and a lot of times they wouldn't win the deal back, but I thought it was a really good send. I can maybe count on a hand, maybe two, like how many handwritten notes I've gotten. And like, we do a ton of them, but usually they come with gifts, but just like individual handwritten notes, I think are a really good, easy send. Takes you 2 seconds to just send it out.
Yeah. And I think investing in nice stationery helps as well. Getting something in the mail that just looks a little bit different than all the other mail in your mailbox, something a little heavier. I don't know. I think of this as like when we used to actually go interview in person and people would bring in like resume on weighted paper, and it was like, whoo,
yeah,
it's your resume. Did you get this printed at FedEx Kinko's? What's
scented resume on weighted paper? Yeah.
Oh God. A funny thing, my mother was a hiring manager forever and was like very allergic to perfume. So if you ever brought in a scented resume, you weren't getting in there.
Bad news.
Bad news. All right. We have 3 more topics. Anything else we want to talk about for challenging the status quo of communication before we move to relationships?
No, let's do it. Let's move on.
Cool. All right. So y'all, we are almost to 2025. If you are a seller, you are probably either closing something out right now, or you know everything's closing in Q1. Sorry, not sorry. That's where we're at. It's October. Thanksgiving is coming. Christmas is coming. New Year's is coming. Probably some other holidays I'm not listing. Sorry if I didn't list your holiday.
Yeah.
Drop it in the comments. We'll celebrate with you.
Unless you have a fast deal cycle. That'd be kind of awesome. But most is like, what, 60 days is the average now?
So I have one deal right now that I'm like, fingers crossed. If this closes in the next week, it will close this year. So like, everybody drop some good juju in the comments for me.
Just send an email that says, hey, just checking in. It's me, Lauren. That's a great way to sell it.
It's me, Lauren. Checking in. Yeah, I'm sure.
Hope all is well. Here to check in.
I hope this email didn't find you in a dumpster fire like I lived in today. No, I do actually send that email. That actually does well for me. Okay, but let's talk about relationships. So y'all, when we talk about this, and it might not be the conversation you think, I brought this up with Braydan and I want to talk about this. This is something super relevant in the world of recruiting right now. When we move into the holidays and we are getting to where people take time off, they spend extended time around family, they're not really as connected to work. That is a time when a lot of people make shifts. And it's a time when a lot of employers don't really think about maintaining these relationships through the holiday season. And a lot of recruiters, aka people like me, start finding people in their DMs, say, hey, I've been thinking about making a shift, or I've been thinking about looking for my next role. So I want to talk about first employees, and we'll move to clients. But what do you think, as somebody who has a lot of employees? Clearly, well, we're going to talk about brands and how well you do with your employees soon, but you guys have a great group of people that you clearly lean into, that you clearly support. How do you guys focus on maintaining these relationships and really giving the support to your people through the holidays so that they come back refreshed in 2025?
Yeah, so it's changed too, because I mean, we have our warehouse folks that are amazing, and like their busy time is right now all the way until January. And so a lot of us go out there, and anyone who's next to a warehouse and go and help them. So I think that like, and we say thank you a ton to them. So like let's there's always that segment. The other one is that if you look at our folks who, used to be in the office and now been at home the last like 4 years or so, like there's a lot of travel. There's a lot of work also during the holidays. But I think like the biggest thing is as they go through and talk to their family and look at like, hey, what do I want to do next year? What are my goals next year? Like as a company, there's a couple things we do. We're like one-on-ones need to take place. Those are easy. Those are like table stakes. Goal planning for next year, I guess an easy one too. That should already happen. But we do this thing called dim the lights, meaning like during the holidays, it's like, hey, you don't need to be on all the time. Like spend time with your family, like do the fun family holiday things. Like don't be on your computer if you're not working on something. So we do that through the majority of like the Christmas, New Year's holiday. And it's a good break for most folks to basically just not have to sit at their computer for no reason. And so I think like that tends to work really well. I think like the folks that we have are it's you want to have very transparent conversations too, like when it comes to goals, like, hey, you've been in this role for a year. What's the next step? Where do you want to go? And, like, how can I help you get there? Like, even if those conversations are not like, hey, like I see you as a dose for the next 10 years, like that's okay. Like, I don't think that should be the way that it is. But, maybe it's like, I want to become a director and then I want to jump to another company. Cool. Have those transparent conversations. And everyone who is at Sendoso as a manager knows that this is a growth step for a lot of folks. And like, that's okay. And to be transparent about it, I think is important to make sure to have those combos with everybody who works there.
Having the conversation is important. I think also a lot of times when you get to the holidays, people are exhausted and tired, and it's easy to say, oh, just take some time off. We're going to check out and we'll check back in next year. But you saying like, have these conversations now, talk about goals. Those are important. Those are really, really important things to keep at the top of your mind so that you know where your employees are at all the time.
I think people get burnt out. So like, I definitely know burnout, but I think something that adds to burnout is you don't really know what you're working towards. And so I think when you know what the next like year or two look like, or like what you need to do to get to that next step in your career, I think that helps alleviate burnout. Like personally, where it's one of those things where like, I know what to do. I know what I need to sell, what numbers I need to hit. And if I do that, then I know it comes with the next role, the next promotion, the next pay bump, whatever. And so if you do that and spend time with your folks kind of expressing what those are, I think it helps with burnout too. Of course, the time off helps as well, to take time with your family. But I think that both of those are important things to do.
They're both important. I like the dim the lights. I think that people who are listening and watching today are going to take something from that. I know Liz says she likes that strategy. If you're watching, I want to know, does your company offer you anything like that? How do you kind of step away and make sure that you maintain over the holiday season? We're going to start talking about client relationships as well. Client relationships are huge. I know I personally like to use Sendoso around holidays to just reinforce relationships with my current clients that I already have, make sure they know they're still top of mind with me. But really leaning into your client relationships before the holidays, checking in with them, so that you're top of mind. I know Q1, a lot of my clients are really preparing to hire next year. They know what's happening. Yeah. The election's going to be over. We're going to be more confident in what's happening. And we're going to be able to really make some big hires, I think, in January and February of next year. So how do you maintain relationships over the holidays, not be pushy, not check in too much, right? Like give people space. We want time off. Just like you're saying, you're going to dim the lights, but you still want to maintain those relationships. So how do you do that?
Yeah, I think that so I'll answer this question in a couple ways. I think the first thing is it's really important for anyone in sales to start with sales to have a relationship with your customers that you've already sold. Because like a lot of the time, a lot of these clients that you have that have maybe already bought your software, they're already onboarded, they're already using it, they're going to switch jobs in January, February. And so if you have a relationship with them, like that works out really well and they switch a job, that you're one of the first phone calls they make. Because they maybe have jumped to a company where they don't have your software. And like, they're like, oh, you know what? I should call Braydan because Braydan sent me a holiday. Hey, like, have a good holiday. Here's a bottle of wine, or like maybe you sent some simple holiday, even like a handwritten note, like saying, hey, happy holidays. I think family photos, the ones you send to your family, not a bad idea to send those to those customers too. I think that like that, you kind of like flirt with the line of like business versus personal. And I think that's okay sometimes. I think it's all kind of meshed together now. I mean, that's kind of probably a hot take. People might disagree with me there, but I think that like that's important. Step one is to make sure you have your own brand and to make sure you have a relationship with those customers that you've sold already, because you can sell them again. I think secondly, if you have a bunch of folks maybe that are prospects, maybe that are customers, if you're in the CSM world, I think most folks give you a hint as to how they're going to work through the holidays, and keep that in mind. Like if they are very excited to go on a family trip and you know that they're flying from the East Coast to the West Coast or vice versa, maybe there's a gift you send to like, hey, here's a Starbucks gift card. You can do like $5. Like grab coffee and meet at the airport. I know the caffeine will help. Or maybe on like the second day of Thanksgiving, you're like, hey, I'm sure you're tired of the in-laws. Like here's like something to get out of the house, like go grab, lunch on me. Like there's a lot of simple things you can do there. I think the content that goes with the gift is really important. I think you have to have a background as to who this person is. Like doing blanketed type stuff, I don't think works as well, but getting very personalized, like during the holidays, I think is important. So you can have like your text, your email, your gift actually opened.
100%. If it's not relevant, even if it's a gift, even if it's a note, if it's not something that really I can tell you put effort into, it's not going to matter as much, just period. Somebody commented this. I want to know what you think. Just started a new job, not a career move, and found out they closed the company for the holidays and don't pay employees for those days.
Wow.
They think it's a culture killer. What do you think about that?
They don't pay employees for the holidays, but the company shut down. I think that's a rough. I mean, I'm not sure what the industry is. Maybe it's one of those things where maybe it's maybe they're trying to help folks come back refreshed. But I think when you cut payoff for a long period of time, that probably does the opposite. I imagine those folks have to go out and figure out what to do to have money for that, because the holidays are expensive. Like I think no matter what you do, it's one of those things where like you're like, oh man, the credit card bills just keep going. So probably, I would say that's probably a culture killer. I think maybe that's a tough one. Not knowing more about that, I would say that's something that if you're in the position to talk about it with the company, maybe you can. I would.
Yeah. I would say, since you said that's your new job and not a career move, make sure you're still looking for your career move on the back end.
Yeah.
And maybe by the holidays you find something else. Because
I mean, like you would know this. I mean, I was in sales, like I was commission only. Like when I did like recruiting back in the day, I was commission. So like I guess I wasn't paid during the holidays either. And so
I'm commission only.
Yeah. So like you prep for it, right? So that you kind of know like during the holidays you're not going to work. So if it's like that, then okay, then I sort of get it. Where it's like, hey, I know December's slow, so I crush it in October, because October everybody's working because everyone's getting prepped for the holidays. And like, so like if that's the case there, that kind of makes a little more sense if you're commission only, which I've lived commission only forever. So I know exactly, you know that very well.
I had an agency I worked for, and they said every summer, like, we want you to get to take July off. Like your kids out, spend a month, we want you to take July off. But like, we all knew what we needed to work towards to take July off. And then those of us who wanted to make money never took July off anyway. But that's,
well, it's just like you get good, like whatever your commission plan is, you get good at navigating that. I mean, even in sales, like I knew if I was way off from an accelerator, I would hold deals back. But if I was already at my number, then I would hold it until the next day over the quarter. Then I would close all those deals. I mean, like, I think that even as a co-founder of a company, I'm very aware of how we've designed commission plans. And like, I would hope if you're an 8-year SDR, you know exactly how to take advantage of those, because that's kind of the game. It's kind of like credit card points. You learn what you need to do to get the points. Maybe that's a hot take, but that's how I feel about it.
No, I think it's a smart take.
Yeah.
Really quick, I gotta say what's up to Richie. Richie, I haven't seen you here in a while. Good to see you. And I don't know, maybe people are getting paid salary to work some places. You and I aren't about that life. Yes. Oh my God. Hi, Richie. That's how we all feel when he pops in the chat. I was being told by many recruiters that no one is hiring or spending. People are hiring. That's not true. I got 2 candidates in finals this week and multiples in other interview process. So I will say I think things are a little slower, but that's not true. People are hiring.
I can tell you about our hiring. Like there's the jobs that we post, we get a ton of applicants for. And so it's very hard to just apply to jobs on a website. I think like it's much better to go the route of like someone who has a connection there, like an agency or a recruiter or like a referral. Like even my wife works for Salesforce, and like the amount of like applicants that they get for position they post is crazy. But if you go through somebody you know there, it's much easier to get an actual interview. So I'll take them for what it's worth. But applying for jobs online, I would say during December or even now, is quite hard to get through all the noise.
I always tell people, start networking with the people at the companies you want to work for. Every time I talk to people, like, where do you want to work? They're like, I don't know. I just want to do this job. No, pick a list of the companies you want to work for.
Yeah.
Start networking with all of those people now, so that when you get to the point where you need a job, you have 55 connections who work at this company. And okay, you can message 30 of them. I promise you 2 or 3 of them will get back to you.
Yeah, I think I probably a hot take too. If you're in sales and you're looking to jump right now, that's a red flag to me, because like you're approaching Q4, which is like should be your accelerator quarter. And so like you have a good story as to why you're looking to, because like if you're jumping right now, that's a red flag.
Yeah, definitely lots of red flags.
Yeah.
Okay, we're halfway through. Typically, you guys see Miss Michelle Craig in the chat. She comes on for High Five Friday. She's making her return next week.
Ooh.
So if you are watching and you would like to give someone a high five, they will be featured on the show. You will be featured on the show. This is the QR code. Oh, hold on. That's fine. That's the QR code to scan for High Five Friday. We would like to have a record number of high fives next week for High Five Friday. So shout out job seekers, let's talk about them. Shout out somebody who just got a promotion, somebody who started a business. There was 100 women named in sales today. I think we know somebody on that list.
We do. I do too. Yeah.
And we might know a few people.
Yeah.
Shout someone out. Let's give some high fives. Again, don't forget, we are giving away, I hope this doesn't cover up your face. I don't know. Watch out. There we go. Okay. We're giving away this trick or treat candy box. Two of them. Braydan said we give away two.
Yeah. I just added one randomly.
Yeah. Okay. So we're giving away 2 of these today. We've had 15 of you enter. But I'd love for some more of you to enter. Let's give away some candy. And then next week, just so you guys can see, I'm giving away one of the shirts. Sorry, Braydan, we're covering our face. We're giving away one of the Friday Live with Lauren shirts. I'm the only person who owns one. I'm giving away one. We've had a few people buy them, but you'll be one of a few who have one. So that's the giveaway coming next week. The Friday Live with Lauren show shirt. I hope one of you wear it somewhere and somebody asks about it, because I don't know. But here we go. Okay. Michelle says you can also celebrate your own win. Yes. High five yourself. Michelle and I high fived ourselves for going to the gym one week. So like, it's so serious. And Michelle also dropped the link. So yes, submit your high fives. We will love to celebrate with you. Okay. Sendoso, hashtag Sendoso. Shout them out. A few more people entering. Let's drop the banner. Next week, on Thursday and Friday, there is a boot camp that I am part of with Entry Careers. And I'm going to show you guys a little video about that really quick. But that is next week on Thursday and Friday. And after the clip, I will drop the link in the chat, so that if anybody is interested in joining, it is a 2-day boot camp career accelerator. Literally anything and everything you need to know, you're going to learn in 2 days, so you can get your new job. So here we go.
Cool.
Uncertain how to navigate emerging job search technologies? Discontented in your current role and unsure of the path forward? Aspiring to advance your career but requiring strategic direction? We got you. Land your dream job with our 2-day boot camp, featuring top subject matter experts to guide you through the intricacies of today's job market. Our agenda covers job market trends, resume crafting, personal branding, networking, recruiter engagement, mental health, and interview techniques. Expect targeted advice, actionable strategies, and personalized interactions from our experts to enhance your job search effectiveness. To learn more, go to events.entreecareers.com.
All right. I'm going to get Braydan back here in 1 second, but the boot camp is next week. It's 2 days. It is a paid boot camp. There are some discounts if you need help. If you are interested and you need a discount, DM me and let me know. Let's get Braydan back. We have 2 more hot topics. We have the Fun Friday fact, and then we're going to draw for the giveaway.
I'm going to get rid of my background.
There you go.
All right. Way better. That creepy door back there is better.
He switched homes.
Yeah, switched homes.
It's a magic trick. I think this is the first time ever on the show we had somebody switch houses on the break.
Ooh, halfway through. Yeah.
I like it. Mixing
it up.
Spicy. Okay, you can ask your questions in the chat. If you have them, don't forget. If I miss them, ask again, because I'm not going to scroll back through all the comments. And don't forget, you can comment hashtag Sendoso. You guys are doing a good job of that. All right, 2 more topics we're going to talk about. This next one, I'm super stoked for Braydan to talk about. We are going to talk about the rise of the employee's personal brand. Okay, so I worked for a company who literally said, we're going to put out a social media policy. You all have to sign it, and we're going to monitor what you post. You have to post certain things about our company. You can't like post this or this. And I was like, I'm out. I think within a week I had planned to form my business, and like I resigned on a Friday and we started business on Monday.
Nice.
And it was one because I knew I could do it better on my own, but it was also because I wasn't signing social media policy about giving away my content for any reason for anyone. I do think that there are ways you can do this well together. And now leaning into how Sendoso works with their employees who've built brands. You know, you have some employees with really awesome personal brands.
Absolutely.
You guys have brought employees in who already had great brands, who have integrated into your brand. You've had employees who've just worked for you for a long time, who've grown personal brands. They all mesh really well, and they all seem to be supported really well. And when I think of companies that do it right, I think about Sendoso. So I want to talk about that. How do you support your employees through this, and what does it look like from the inside?
Thank you. I think that like it's one of those things that Chris and I, when we started the company, was important to us. I think both of us, when we were in sales before, thought it was important to have a brand in sales, because it doesn't really matter what you're selling. Like someone was buying something from Braydan. And I think that was an important quality that we wanted to have in our values at Sendoso. So when we've hired folks in sales, like we have some amazing folks in sales who have already spent a lot of time building their own brand. When they joined here, they were able to do very well, because folks knew that like that person was joining a company. They already trusted that person, so then they can go and sell whatever that solution is, because they probably joined the company for a reason. So from a founder standpoint or from a manager standpoint, like it was great for that, because like you could have sales immediately. From the marketing angle, like we have a lot of amazing folks on that team as well. Katie Penner, I mean, she was just on that list of like 100 like amazing folks. Was it 100? Was it women in sales to know?
Mm-hmm.
So like, I mean, Katie deserves that. Like she's an amazing brand, and like she spent a lot of time building that. And I remember like 2 years ago when she was just starting, she was like, I think I want to like really take the Sendoso thing, take the gifting thing to the next level. I think I should do it. I'm like, absolutely. I think all that does is help somebody in their next step in their career. If they were to build their brand as Sendoso, awesome. Then after they leave here, they make their own agency, they make their own consulting business. I think that is so cool. Like, why not be able to spin out incredible companies or spin out incredible people, incredible like other agencies like from Sendoso? I think that's a cool thing to be able to say. So this is one of our things that we take to heart here. I think that like we don't have anything you sign for social media. If you want to, you can post whatever you want online as long as it's positive. Just kidding. You can post whatever you want online. I think the goal there is it just helps like people be more authentic and more personal, which I think helps the world of gifting, because every gift is different. So I think people's social medias and what they say on a sales call should be different. Like having anything canned, this comes up unauthentic, which today people don't want.
It's like Liz says, people buy from people, which is true. Today I made a post and I made some like funny face in the picture, right? Like, because the thing that I was saying is absolutely ridiculous. So I made a ridiculous face. It doesn't all have to be like this smile and perfectly like thing. It's you, and it's real, and it's authentic. And the post where, am I negative? No. But am I always the most positive? No. I'm calling it how I see it. Those are the posts that people resonate with, and those are the posts people engage with. And I think if you can build it the right way, you grow your audience in a way that people resonate with you and they follow you. And then you could also talk about all of the other things that are important to you. And you've built this great network, and they are engaged in every part of your life.
Yeah.
But you have to really start with that authenticity of, this is me, and I'm not for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it helps also when someone makes an error or if they mess something up, to be able to admit like, oh man, I really screwed that up. Like that's okay, because you learn from it. And I think people make errors and mistakes. And I think being able to accept that it only plays into this whole thing as being authentic. And if you bring your own brand to Sendoso, awesome. Like keep growing it. I also think that like people aren't going to be at Sendoso their whole life. I mean, Katie Penner will be here forever. And like, that's okay. I don't want her to be, but in her if we can help her in her next position, like look back at Sendoso and be like, I really grew there and I really learned a lot of stuff. Like that's so rewarding to us as a company. And me as a founder, I'm like, yeah, like I was able to build something that helps somebody develop. Awesome. And then they're able to go become a CMO at some massive Fortune 500 company. Sweet. Like that's kind of cool to be able to look at.
It's really cool to hear you say this, knowing that I'm like personal friends with Katie, and I hear her always talk about like how much she's been supported and how she feels the way that you want her to feel. And y'all, there's so many times where people never have this symbiotic relationship with the people they work with. And this is why communication is so important and supporting your employees is so important. Like we could literally go back through every topic. This is why they all really matter. You have to support your employees to the point where, like Braydan said, we want Katie to do the best she ever can. Like Katie doesn't want to. Katie wants to be with Sendosa over at Braydan. Katie's gonna watch this and be like, "What do you mean?
Forever? Where go
forever."
somewhere? There's like the one thing. It's not all roses though. I mean, there is like I do argue with her a lot. Where she have an idea where I'm like, that's a horrible idea. But like I think that like or like she'll call you out on something or like whoever it is, like not just Katie, like take any of the folks here. Like having the culture of disagreement, I think is good too. I think like if I'm sure everyone's read Radical Candor, like that's an awesome book to read. But I think that sometimes like I think there's a type of radical candor that works well today, especially in a remote world where it's okay to disagree with somebody, but if you disagree, have a reason why and have another alternative or solution. But here at Sendosa, I don't care if you're the founder or CEO or an SCR, like if you disagree with something, like please speak up. I think that helps companies grow.
Yes, I feel like we're gonna have like lots of love for Katie in the comments in a minute. But yes, Karen, she does show it, and people I think connect with her and resonate with her because not only is she like exactly who she says she is and shows up as, but she's just one of the most like overly optimistic people when I hang out with her. Like there's nothing wrong. Like what do you mean? Like anything could go wrong, but nothing's wrong. What do you mean something went wrong? Like it just there's a lightness when you're around Katie. Here we go. Katie's incredible. Y'all just let them feed in. But you guys have some other employees. I mean, are you focused on building your brand? Does that matter to you as a co-founder? And I mean, how does that look?
Yeah, I mean, like it's been it's like about 9 years, so I think I've taken a lot of time of like building my own brand as to what I want to be known as in the world of tech and the world of SaaS. So a lot of the time, like I would rather have a lot of our employees here shine. Like I think Junior in the sales team has an incredible sales brand. I think he posts some amazing stuff. I think Austin is building his own from the marketing team. So I think that there's a lot of really great brands I would rather spotlight than mine. Chris, my co-founder, does a ton of podcasts. I think he's definitely taken on the role of evangelist, which is awesome. Like, go for it. I think that's super cool to be able to have that. But so, I mean, I do a lot of podcasts. I do a lot. I speak at a lot of good shows, which was help kind of build that. I think that's that I never want to have go away because I enjoy it. And I think that kind of builds your brand just slowly.
Yeah, I mean, slowly if you join People's every now and then, a lot more if you do one every Friday.
Yes. Yeah.
Just an idea if you want to start. I think it's something that's also, it's not for everyone. And I really want to highlight right now that you can be successful at a company and not have a huge personal brand. And
absolutely.
I think that like a lot of people talk about it, and there's a big part of people who I call you like the lurkers, and that's okay. You don't have to be the person who's posting. You don't have to be the person who's creating the content to be successful. There's a lot of different ways. I know a lot of people who are like very academic. They're still good at sales. Like they just sell a different way. But you don't have to have this massive personal brand. And I really want to call that out, especially because I'm sure there's also people who work for you guys who that's not their main focus.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have, if you're an enterprise seller and your job is to work with the same two companies all day long, you don't need to have a brand that is like a posting on social. I mean, like your job is to work with Microsoft and they need to know you. You need to have a brand internally there, but like everybody else doesn't matter. So I think that's an important thing to distinguish. Like it's not as important if you're on the enterprise side. Even on the SMB side, I think that like if you don't want to go that route, that's okay. I mean, I think that it's just people who do well and posting and doing blog posts, and I don't think it's necessary to be successful. It helps with inbound, though, I would say.
It does help with inbound. I was talking to somebody the other day, a recruiter. I won't even mention who it was, a recruiter on the show. Go back, you guys, pick out who you think I'm talking about. But I was talking to a recruiter on the show before we went live, and it was like, yeah, I don't even know why I spend that much time on LinkedIn. I don't get anything inbound. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Like, I don't get a ton of inbound, but I get inbound from LinkedIn. And sometimes I'm reaching out, but I'm reaching out because you're on my profile or you're on my page, you're on my website. Like, I'm noticing all of the triggers, right? Like, what do you mean you don't get anything from LinkedIn? I don't know. That just kind of hit me.
Yeah, I think that like if you're spending a lot of time on LinkedIn, I think it's important to people to get something from there. Like maybe you're spending time in the wrong spots.
Right. And so focus on your return on investment too. Like if the personal brand thing's not bringing anything to you and you're not really getting anything out of it, maybe that's not where you lean in. Not everybody's a social seller. It's not a thing for everyone.
Yeah, and like who are you selling to? I mean, if you work in a different industry that isn't on LinkedIn a lot, then like maybe it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I recruit a lot of doctors for medical expert testimony right now, and doctors don't live on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You don't know that, but you know where they live? Indeed. It's so strange to me.
Really?
It is what it is.
I don't know if I would want my doctor on LinkedIn anyways. Like promoting some like him like liking a page or some like random like drug he's really into. I'm like, I don't know if I like that at all.
Tom says that you want to check out Leroy Heights Awesome Cooking Firewood to see if it makes sense for Sendoso. There you go. Cutting
edge firewood.
That's an endorsement, Tom.
Yeah, right.
Michelle says one thing I see a lot is folks creating content for the persona that they are rather than the ones they want to attract. Yes.
That's a good point.
Michelle. That's important. I got a really good friend from LinkedIn. Oh, it's me. She's talking about me. Yes, I made a lot of really good friends from LinkedIn. I made friends with Katie Penner, friends with Rich Lampani, friends with Michelle Craig. Michelle and I became friends through gifting. Y'all, like, LinkedIn's powerful. Sorry, Richie, what did you say? I found a lot of pharmacists and nurses in Facebook groups when we worked on Walgreens. Yeah, except I got a permanent lifetime ban from Facebook, and I'm still a little salty about it, Richie.
Whoa.
I didn't even do anything wrong. Some hacker got into my account and put like some spam bot on it, and like within hours, gone. No way.
See you later.
See you later.
No, you're not missing anything.
No, but could you imagine if I literally had this conversation today? We can talk about this because we're talking about personal brands. I was driving to work and I was like, what if my LinkedIn got locked out today and I couldn't get back on LinkedIn?
You have to start from scratch. Just like
no, like what if you couldn't get back on? Like what if you couldn't start a new account?
You just go to their contact us page and they'll contact you in 6 to 9 months.
6 to 9 months.
See how it goes.
Good luck with your recruiting business.
Yeah.
We'll get back
Good
to
luck.
you in 6 to 9 months.
Like I'm actually a recruiter not on LinkedIn. Be like, we don't believe in it here. So we actually use just drop off physical resumes.
I think I have to make friends with some more LinkedIn people now just for like my own personal jobs. I didn't know when I started working for myself and LinkedIn became such an important part of my life, I needed to make LinkedIn friends so that I had job security.
They have an Equator Coffee in their building here, which is like Equator Coffee in Marin is like, it's like the best coffee ever. So there's one in the LinkedIn building. So you can send some Equator gift cards to them. You'll make friends pretty quickly.
Okay, there we go. And I can probably send them through Sendoso.
Yeah.
All right. We have one more hot topic. Then we'll get into the Fun Friday fact and the giveaways. 2 giveaways today. Comment #Sendoso. Okay. Very last topic is leveraging your network the right way. The right way. So when we talk about this, I know we talk a lot about like what you do wrong, but there are some things that people just do wrong over and over and over again. And I see it. And I feel like you just tell people, don't do that. Don't say that. Don't ask for 15 minutes right away. Right. Like there's certain things. Don't say, I hope this finds you well. There's little things. You talked about it earlier. You got to do it the right way. So we're talking about leveraging our network. And you said you've been building yours for your brand, your network, like 9 years. That's what you just said.
So yeah, 9 years.
Right. So you got to do it the right way because you can really harm it. And it's something that you've built for a long time. You've invested in. So how do you leverage your network the right way?
You can make, and I still make a lot of errors. I think one of the biggest ones is like, if you do, let's say you ask somebody for help, like an intro or I don't know, a referral, whatever have you. If they make it or if they get back to you, saying thank you, simple, saying thank you. I forget to do that all the time. And like, it is such a nice thing to have someone let you know how the hell the intro went. To be like, hey, by the way, like, thanks for that intro you made a month ago. I sold the deal or I placed the candidate or hey, they gave me the middle finger, but it was a great phone call. Like whatever, but like just like loop me in and like let me know how it went. I think is one of those things that I suck at it. I was better at it, but like saying thank you is so important to your network. Next thing is if you do ask for help, an intro or whatever have you, don't make me ask for a ghost email of like what you want me to say to that person, like in an intro. Like just write it for me. Like there's a trillion AI tools. Be like, hey, like Braydan, do you think you can introduce me to ABC person? I wrote an email already as to what I want to say to them. Like here's what you could write, make it sound like yourself, and then send it. Like if they don't respond, no worries. Like thanks so much. Like that's such a simple thing to do that I think that people you need to do it. And then the last thing is like this: if you connect with somebody on LinkedIn, don't pitch right after they connect with you. Like this. I mean, the amount of like LinkedIn messages I get like after I connect, you're like, hey, can I have 15 minutes to tell you about ABC? It's like I don't even know who you are. Like, and also don't pick something random that the AI will pick. Like I see that you went to Chico State. My father-in-law also went to Chico State. That's awesome. Like we should connect and talk about why you should buy my security software. I think like there's a different direction you should take. I think that like sometimes the AI stuff doesn't work too well in LinkedIn. Today it's pretty rudimentary right now for sure. I don't know. Those are some hot takes on
Some
my
of
LinkedIn in the last week.
Some of the AI stuff is interesting. There's I've gotten things like people who clearly don't live around me, but they'll like call out some really specific restaurant down the street from my house. It's like,
yes,
take a gift card and go eat here. And I'm just like, that's almost like a little too much for me. Like, you don't know me at all. We have no relationship. This is the first email you've ever sent me. And this restaurant is 2 miles from my house. Like how? Why?
How
what?
did you know? There was we used to have like this bot. It was like this thing. We would crawl Yelp, and we would send emails out, and this little Yelp bot would pick like the closest restaurant that was in your zip code that had the highest rating on Yelp. So like we'd write this email, your pitch email, like first or second touch, and at the bottom it would say, "P.S. Have you ever tried insert restaurant?" And like that's what we sent out to like even like the response rates were killer. People would be like, "Oh man, I love that place," but then it started to get like kind of too skewed where it would pick like a McDonald's. And you're like, oh shit, it's gonna go. It's like, by the way, P.S. You ever tried McDonald's like in your area? And people be like, why are you asking me about that? So we stopped using it, but it was really cool for a while. And I think it kind of got messed up.
It'll get better over time. That's what we were talking about with AI SDRs. They kind of suck right now, but next year we'll see where they're at.
We'll see where it goes. But it's really the other things in LinkedIn. Oh, you know what my biggest pet peeve is in LinkedIn these days is like the weird fights people make up on LinkedIn. I don't really like them. Like, seems dumb to me. I'm not really a fan.
It's for engagement. Okay, so I understand doing things for engagement. I do.
Sure.
I get it. I'd rather do things for leads and money, but I understand doing things for engagement. And I post content. I used to get paid per post, and I don't do that anymore. But like, I get it. Make your bag. Do what you do. However, in my opinion, like, there's just some people who take it a little bit too far. And it's like, I don't need it to be this circus on LinkedIn. Like, do I like engaging content? Yes. Do I like the video feed? Yes. Do I like that we're moving kind of a little bit more social? Yes. But it doesn't need to be a circus.
Yeah. I mean, like, I know there's a lot of people who have gone from, 5,000 followers to 100,000 followers by having like a big made up beef thing, or maybe it is real on LinkedIn, and like they post back and forth, and it pops up like first on my feed because LinkedIn's algorithm is like, this is getting a lot of comments, and like people they post the popcorn emoji because they want to watch. I don't know, that's just not my, I don't love it. Maybe it works. I think it works now. I don't think it works long term. I think eventually that drifts off into the distance. Everyone's like, oh yeah, you were that guy that posted X on LinkedIn and were kind of an asshole, and everyone kind of forgot about you. I don't know. That's my too harsh.
I think you're right. I think that it's also like a lot of people just calling people out inappropriately. Like, would you really do it that way? I don't know. You just have a little bit of a platform now. Okay, we got a question. Let's see if we can answer this. How do I pivot from a market that I have been in for the majority of my life, knowing resumes tell the initial story? Okay, I can answer this. You want to talk about it, or you want me to take it?
Go for it.
So I would say, yes, resumes tell a story, but you tell the story on the resume. So understanding how your experience translate to the new industry, being able to speak about that's very important. Brayden and I were talking about how important the connections you have right now are and how many applicants people get. And if you are just applying for a job and you're trying to transition and you're just applying on the website and that's the only thing you're doing, you're never going to get a chance to tell your story. So I would give you the advice that I gave earlier, where you really need to know the companies you want to work for. You really need to start networking in. You need to be able to have somebody understand who you are as a person, what you're going to bring to the team as a human, and how quickly you're going to be able to learn. So you're going to tell the story. The resume is a piece of paper that gets you an interview, but you need to start getting conversations before you even worry about the resume and the interview. You want to say anything?
Yeah, I think that like two probably different like this answers to add to that. When I look at a resume, the first two things I look at is probably like one, like how long have you been with companies? Like if you're jumping every 5 months is one thing I look at. But then the second thing is like, what was your last company? Have you been there for like 40 years, or maybe been there for maybe less than 5 months? Like I look at kind of like duration. And then secondly, if I really want to talk to you, if I've been told that you were great, I'll typically back channel you, somebody we're connected to on LinkedIn. And like the back channel is like, that's why you want to make sure your network is strong. Because if we have a common connection, that's probably who I'm going to, and I'll ask about you. And like that's the back channel is the interview. I just like, or not all of it, but like that's a lot of it. It becomes, if someone like vouches for you, like, oh yeah, like hey, let me tell you, like like Katie's great because ABC, like that's gonna be important before the interview even starts. Because in an interview on Zoom, like typically most folks make their mind up in the first 15 minutes. Like you can read that that doesn't happen, but that's usually the way that it is. And typically that's like buying software, usually already 80% of it's done before even the interview happens.
I would say before 15 minutes, if we're being really honest. And I got to
just trying to be nice.
You see this?
Yeah, I did. I changed rooms.
He switched rooms with the half. He got a new house.
Did you guys see this? Like, are you waiting for something creepy to walk this door right here? Are you waiting for it at all? Nothing.
Is a ghost gonna come through? It's a Halloween show.
I know, right? As I was hoping something would happen, but so far nothing. Or is it close?
Robert says that job seeking is a contact sport. We agree. It really is. Okay, we're getting to the end of the show. We only got a couple minutes left. So right before we do the giveaway, at the end of the show, we always have a fun Friday fact. I drop it on the guest right before the show. So I don't really have much time to prepare because I have to answer all my questions and talk to you guys throughout the hour. So, Brayden, did you come up with a fun Friday fact for us all?
It's more of something that everyone can use this weekend. So I am a dad of a 3-year-old, and I mentioned that a few times, and I've really tried to encompass the dad jokes. Like they're very important to me. I tell them a lot. So I will give you a couple dad jokes that you guys can use this weekend if you'd like. So here we go. So what do you call a cow with 3 legs? Tri-tip. How about a cow with 2 legs? Lean meat. How about a cow with 1 leg? Steak. How about a cow with no legs? Steak. All right, so you get it. All right, so there's that set. You can use that as much as you want. Here's another set for you. What do you call a guy with no arms and no legs in a hole? Phil. How about out of a hole? How about skiing? Skip. How about in a pond? Bob. On a doorstep? Matt. On a wall? Art. So yeah, there you go. There's some jokes for you. Probably inappropriate.
No, this is great. And I love these are going to live on forever. And I'm going to clip just that portion. And we're going to have dad jokes of LinkedIn.
Dad jokes of LinkedIn.
Just show up on the video feed.
Perfect.
For dad jokes of LinkedIn. Y'all, do you have dad jokes? Let me know. Okay. Last chance. Thank you so much, Jacindoso, for sponsoring the giveaways today. We're going to give away C's Candy Trick or Treat boxes. 2 of them. It's amazing. So here we're going to do this right now. Are you ready? 16 people entered today. We're going to do the first drawing. Who's it going to be? Jody, David, Emmanuel, Michelle, Liz, Andrew. I don't know. Who's getting it? Emmy Dawson. Emmy, earlier in this year, when we had Zoom Info on, Emmy won a year subscription to Zoom Info on the show.
Nice.
Okay, let's draw one more time. Who's it going to be? We have one more winner today for the C's Candy Trick or Treat box. Looks like it's Gregory. Yes, Gregory. That's so exciting. All right. Okay, Braydan, this was fun. I know we're like at time, but I want to ask, is there anything else you want to say to everybody before we go into the weekend? It's going to be like the last time you're on the show this year. We'll get you back next
know,
year,
right?
but what do you want to leave people with this year?
I think the biggest thing I think is important if you look at work over the next like 3 months, and if you haven't tried gifting at all and you want to, there's two things that you could do, or three things. First one is try doing a handwritten note to somebody, maybe a customer, maybe a prospect, maybe someone who you're trying to place. Just your handwritten note, just saying, hey, thanks for the time, or thinking that like just something nice, and just send it and see what the reaction is. Next thing is on Starbucks.com, you can buy e-gifts for coffee. Buy one, and they'll give you a link and send it to somebody and see what that response looks like. Third thing is like for those really fancy prospects that like maybe you're trying to get in front of, and like let's say they went to a big football school, try sending something alumni related and see what the reaction is. So just try those three things. You don't need a platform like Sendoso to do it. Just do it, send it, see what happens, see what the reaction is. Let me know what the reaction is, and do that over the next 3 months or so.
I love it. That's great advice, y'all. Actionable tips. Take them away. Go back. Replay the dad jokes. We got some more dad jokes in the comments just now. Karen says this was great. Liz says she understands why Katie loves her job. I had fun. This was great. Y'all know what I always say. If you didn't like it, don't come back. Bye.